So, with the news or rumor, depending on how you look at it, that Discotek, according to Dawn of the Disc, who tweeted, deleted, and then later on retweeted back on Twitter, as well as social media, with the rumor and news going about that Discotek is going to be releasing Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, the 1993 classic syndicated weekday series, which was aimed at a younger audience, onto Blu-ray. The obvious question that I asked in the title, as well as I talked about in the video yesterday where I talked about this, whether or not SatAM and Underground could be next. Well, first of all, that is a good question, because if you're going to do adventures, it's only logical that you do Sonic SatAM and you do Sonic Underground to follow that up with. Especially knowing that fans will probably buy the Blu-ray release of Adventures just to make that happen, or just to ensure that that will happen. But speaking of Sonic SatAM, one of the questions obviously a lot of people are going to have is, first of all, with Adventures and possibly Sonic SatAM and maybe even Underground, how is this going to be possible? Well, like I mentioned in the video yesterday, one of the labels that Discotek uses when it comes to doing Blu-ray releases of classic 90s cartoons or shows, or classic 80s cartoons or shows, the label that Discotek uses when they release those shows onto Blu-ray, because of the fact that the usually known for being just 480p, 480i SD standard definition, the label they use is SD on BD, or ST or SD to BD, depending on how you interpret it. And what that's short for is standard definition on Blu-ray. That Blu-ray disc, basically. That's what it stands for. Standard definition on Blu-ray disc. And the reason Discotek, along with other companies, is doing this is they realize that, one, it's more cheaper and affordable to just dump the episodes, or just release, or basically upload, dump, if you will, the episodes onto the Blu-ray disc. One, because they don't have to spend much money on additional discs to put the episodes on, and two, it allows the episodes to kind of get an upscale, not a remaster. That depends on whether or not you have the work prints and all that, but it allows the episodes to get a bit of an upscale thanks to the higher bit rate that Blu-ray discs offer in the long run, as well as it allows the sound to get a bit of an upscale as well, thanks to the bit rate and things that Blu-ray discs have to offer. And when it comes to something like, let's say, Sonic X, the same could be said for that, because no one thought Sonic X, or even before it, Samurai Pizza Cats, would be released on Blu-ray. And guess what? They were. But they were released as part of the SD on BD label under Discotek, which basically allowed them to put these standard definition episodes onto a higher bit rate disc to a more upscaled, cleaner image. Not like I said, not remastered, but upscaled to an extent that made it look cleaner and more presentable, in picture and sound to an extent. So when it comes to Adventures, the same thing is going to be done there. And as I mentioned, the other reason they're doing this is it's a lot more affordable. It's a lot cheaper than spending the extra money on additional discs, because all you have to do is take a certain amount of disc, because of the large capacity and bit rate that Blu-ray has to offer. All you have to do is take those episodes and dump them onto Blu-ray without worrying about whether or not you're going to lose any picture quality or any sound quality or anything like that, because the disc is basically built and optimal enough to, like I said, upscale the picture just a bit along with the sound. And the same will be said for Adventures when that does happen, because all Discotek has to do is, instead of doing 4, 5, 6 discs like Adventure has, or 4 disc like SatAM has, all they have to do is do 2 discs. They just have to do the first 52 episodes on 1 disc, and then do the remaining 13 on the other, and there you go. And they wouldn't lose any bit of picture quality or sound quality. Instead, they would gain a tiny bit of upscaling in both. Not remastered, but upscaled. And when it comes to Sonic SatAM, the same could be said for them. The same could be said for Sonic SatAM and even Underground. And what's even better about that is with Sonic SatAM here, you have 4 discs. Count them right there. It says right there, 4 discs, containing all 26 episodes. But with Discotek, if this, along with Underground, is next in line after Adventures, then all they would have to do is utilize just one Blu-ray disc, and that's it. They utilize one Blu-ray disc, and there you go. They save money for themselves, and they save money for potentially the consumer, and they allow the consumer to have a little bit more shelf space on the shelf down the line. And the same could be said with Underground. Underground is 40 episodes. All they have to do is just put those 40 episodes on one disc. There you go. End of story. But the question, obviously, when it comes to something like Sonic SatAM, is what else will we get on this? Will we just get the episodes, or will we get some bonus features? Well, if there's anything we can learn from the Sonic X release, is you will get some bonus features, on these Discotek releases. Some of them just might be the bumpers and all that, and commercial breaks and all that, whatever the case may be. Here, I think you're not just going to get, maybe commercial bumpers and all that, but you're probably going to get the features from the original Shout Factory release retained, or basically gained or retained to be put over onto the Blu-ray disc. The same with the special features that you see on Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. The same with the special features that you see on Sonic Underground. You're going to get a lot of those special features from the Shout Factory releases, not the later releases by N-Circle, but the Shout Factory releases. You're going to probably have those. I'm not saying you will, but you'll probably have those, as part of the bonus features carried over onto the Blu-rays. So that's basically what you're going to get with this. But again, how is it possible? How is it possible that this could happen? Again, it goes back to what I just said. It goes back to Discotek, along with other, companies out there, video companies out there, video distributing companies, publishers, if you will. It goes back to them utilizing what's known as the SD on BD label, or whatever they call that label division in the company. And that's short for basically standard definition on Blu-ray disc. And the reason and again, to repeat myself here, and I know people don't like me doing that, but to repeat myself, basically it allows, for companies like Discotek to save money on having to utilize so many discs to put episodes on, when all they have to do is just use 1 or 2, and that's it. Or maybe even 3, depending on the size of the series that they're going to put onto Blu-ray. All they have to do is just use 1, 2, maybe 3 discs, and that's it. Because on average, this 4-disc set, when it comes to a Blu-ray release, is only 1 disc. When it comes to Sonic Underground, 1 disc. Adventures is going to be the only one, along with Sonic X, is going to be 2 discs. And that's it. And you don't lose anything in the process. You don't lose no picture quality. You don't lose no sound quality. You basically get an upscaling in both those areas to an extent. Not a remastering, but an upscaling. Thanks to the optical bit rate of the Blu-ray disc. And I could tell you that, and I can tell you that's a fact from experience, because when I popped in one of the Blu-ray discs, I think it was disc 1 for Sonic X that I got from Frank Hill, It's Frank, when I popped that in, the image looked, basically, the image was basically cropped in its 4:3, image, as we're used to seeing. Now that might be the same. Now the same might be said for Adventures, SatAM, and Underground when they do it as well, or they might just put them into the 720 widescreen that places like Stars has been known to do in the past. Because believe it or not, Stars did do that when they were airing the show. But anyway, when I looked at it, even though it was still in its 4:3 ratio, the screen looked crisper. The screen, the image, the screen, the picture, and the sound sounded a little bit more crisper. You could tell there was an upscaling in both areas. And you can expect that to happen with Adventures. You can expect that to happen with SatAM, and you can expect it to happen with Underground, should this all come to pass, which it looks more than likely that it will. Because why would, a reliable source like Dawn of the Disc, which is one of those more reliable news sites that talks about, these discs coming out onto Blu-ray or DVD or even 4K, why would they make up something like this if there wasn't any, legitimacy to that report? Why would they tweet, delete, and then retweet later on if there wasn't some kind of truth to it? So, in the long run, what you're going to expect on this is a not a full-on remastered picture. You're going to get an upscaled picture is what you're going to get. That's what you're going to expect. You're going to probably get a 4:3 screen, but an upscaled image and sound, and that's it. But again, going back to what I said about as to why this is possible, one, on both fronts, it makes things a lot more affordable and cheaper for the distributors, the manufacturers, to only have to utilize a few discs instead of multiple discs to put episodes on for a series, as well as it becomes more affordable and convenient for the consumer to just have to buy one small Blu-ray disc and shelve it when they get home, and thus save shelf space, wherever they put it at, because then it's not, because things like this are not clamoring up so much of the shelf space because of the because of the packaging and everything that they come with, is what I'm trying to say. But anyway, though, guys, for anybody that's still wondering how this is possible, again, it goes back to the SD on BD label that companies like Discotek look to when it comes to releasing things like Adventures and possibly SatAM and Underground onto Blu-ray, just like they did with Sonic X. So that's really, I just wanted to come on here and kind of clarify as to how it's possible for Discotek to, release Adventures, and then more than likely SatAM and Underground that could potentially, if not definitely, follow onto Blu-ray, and why it's more convenient and affordable for them, and the same for the consumer down the line, as well down the line. But let me know what your thoughts are. Comment down below, live chat during the premiere, like the video, as well as check me out at Patreon at Brian Walmer, BW Rosas. Check me out on BW Rosas on Vimeo. Check me out on BW Rosas discussions on all your favorite audio podcast locations, except for Pandora, still working on that, as well as check out my Teespring store as well. So until next time, guys, God bless, take care, let me know what your thoughts are, and I'm out.